Create a new Photoshop file. Set the resolution to 300, uncheck Artboard, choose white, and click Create. Now, make a straight line using the Path tool. Hold Ctrl to move a specific point in the path. Right-click on the path, then right-click again on the other 3/4 of it. Hold Ctrl once more, your cursor changes to a pointer, then drag it outward. Repeat this process as needed. Next, go to Stroke. By default, it's set to 1 pixel. Adjust it to match your design, then fill it with a gray color. Select the Move tool and position the line wherever you want it to be. Now, let's add images. Drag and drop your first image into Photoshop, then press Enter. Right-click on the Selection tool and hold to choose the Object Selection tool. Click Select Subject and wait for Photoshop to process. Once done, click the Mask button. Select the Move tool and position the image. If you make a mistake, press Ctrl+C. Remember, don't click the mask itself, but the image layer. Use Ctrl+T to resize however you want. Later, you can refine positioning. Add a second image by dragging it into Photoshop and pressing Enter. Again, choose the Object Selection tool, click Select Subject. Then add a mask to remove the background. Select the image, press Ctrl+T, and resize it. You can adjust where the resizing originates by moving the pivot point. After resizing, press Enter. Move this new layer below the first person so it appears behind. Repeat the process with your third image. Once added, use masks, resize with Ctrl+T, and move the layer beneath the others. Again, choose the Object Selection tool, click Select Subject, then add a mask to remove the background. Select the image, press Ctrl+T, and resize it. You can adjust where the resizing originates by moving the pivot point. After resizing, press Enter. Move this new layer below the first person so it appears behind. Repeat the process with your third image. Once added, use masks, resize with Ctrl+T, and move the layer beneath the others. Adjust until each figure is placed correctly. Add a city background. Select the background layer, drag and drop a city image into Photoshop, and place it behind your characters. Move the pivot point to the bottom, resize, and adjust it downward. Don't worry about quality, we'll blur it. Convert the image to a smart object by going to Filter, Convert for Smart Filters. Then go to Filter, Blur a Gaussian Blur and set it around 7.8 for a soft effect. On top of this background, add a solid red color layer. Lower the opacity to about 54% for a cinematic overlay. Let's add text. Select the top layer, choose the horizontal type tool, and change the font, size, and color as needed. Type your first text, like logo. If you don't like the font, switch it to Arial and adjust spacing or size. Add more text by returning to the type tool. For example, write digital in a larger size, move it, and style it. Use Move tool, V, to reposition, then return to Type tool for the next line. Try colors like yellow, red, or white to make words pop. Resize multiple text layers together by selecting them all, holding Shift, and pressing Ctrl plus T. add design elements, use the Rectangle tool. Draw a rectangle, then round the corners in the Properties panel. Change the fill to red or apply a gradient for extra style. Confirm with Enter, then reposition with the Move tool. Add more text like "Contact us" in bold Arial, uppercase, and resize it to fill the shape. Add icons by dragging them into Photoshop. Resize with Ctrl+T and place them near the text. For example, add a phone icon and type a sample number below, or add a location icon and type Chicago in bold Arial beneath it. adjust all images together. Select the character layers, hold Shift, and press Ctrl+T to scale them up or down so the composition feels balanced. Once everything is in place, you'll have a complete banner design ready to use. That's it. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Photoshop tutorials like this one.